Hi, I'm Dwayne King.
And I'm Jennifer Fordsmith. Welcome to our AML micro-learning series. Today we'll be discussing reasonable grounds to suspect.
We chose reasonable grounds to suspect as our first in this series because it really is the backbone of most compliance regimes. Whether you're in a SAR regime for suspicious activity reporting or an STR regime, suspicious transaction reporting, your reporting is triggered once you reach reasonable grounds to suspect. So understanding that trigger is fundamental not only to reporting properly, but protecting your organization.
And I think for investigators, it becomes a tricky balance, underreporting and overreporting, and finding that sweet spot in the middle.
For sure. I mean, underreporting means that the regulator may find that you missed a suspicious activity or transaction report, which could lead to fines to your organization. Overreporting means that we're filling our financial intelligence units with useless information.
Absolutely. So we need to make sure our reporting is concise and that we understand our reasonable grounds.
And I think we can get some learning actually from our laws and what judges have said about reasonable grounds to suspect. Because judges have been battling with how to define and articulate reasonable grounds to suspect for years. And no, we're not lawyers, and no, we don't understand all the nuances of the law, but we can get some learning from our judges who have battled with this for years. And I think one of the key test cases of that actually went to the Supreme Court of Canada, and it's R versus Kang Brown.
I think that's a great case to start with. So the judge in this case spoke to the difference between mere suspicion versus reasonable grounds to suspect. This case had to do with a canine unit that was investigating the use or transport of narcotics.
At the end of the day, the Supreme Court of Canada ruled that the officers did not have reasonable grounds to suspect in that case, but we still got some really strong learning, and there's a few tidbits of really great language in that case that's understandable and digestible.
And particularly, the judge spoke to the difference between what is subjective and objective. And we want to make sure as an investigator that we really understand the degree of probability, and we put that in our objective piece.
And that when you say degree of probability, I hear degree of possibility. And I think I hear that because I often would have conversation with investigators over the is it possible. And I call it the is it possible trap, because they get into the trap, well, isn't it possible that, and isn't it possible that, and they walk themselves down this road that all of a sudden they've made up a whole bunch of circumstances that didn't really happen or probably didn't happen. And that's where the probability of that happening comes in. And you determine what the degree of probability of this story is. Because
Right.
Last Tuesday I went out. I was going out after work with the guys. I told my wife I was going to be home by 7. And at 10 to 7, I'm leaving. I'm being good. Like, I'm proud of myself. My wife's going to be happy. I'm going to be able to go drinking next week. It's a win-win here. And as I'm walking in, a buddy of mine was walking in, and he's looking kind of tired. Haven't seen him in a while. Haven't really caught up. But I said to him, hey, dude, how you doing? And he said, oh, my dog died.
Okay.
And I said, oh, man. And my wife left me. And the bank foreclosed on my mortgage, and I got fired. And I said, today? He goes, yeah, today. So I had to go drinking with him. I had no choice, right? I mean, you cannot leave him to drink alone. He's had what could have been the worst possible day of his life. And so I came home around 2 o'clock, stumbled onto the couch, and the next morning around 7, the eyes are on me. My eyes aren't even open, but I can tell that I'm being like the eyes. Guys, you know what I'm talking about here, right? So I open my eyes and I try to explain. I said, oh, sweetie, you don't understand. The dog, the wife, the job, the house, it all happened.
I mean, Dwayne, it's possible, but really?
Oh, isn't it possible that his dog died that day?
I mean, sure.
Isn't it possible that his wife left him that day?
Okay.
Isn't it possible that he lost his job that day? Yeah, well, we're falling down the is it possible trap. But what's probable? What's the evidence telling you from your investigation? What are your objective facts telling you? Not what are you running down the is it possible. That's the important part.
That's where you really want to make sure that you've got your facts, context, and indicators. You want to make sure you understand those and roll those into your grounds for suspicion.
I agree. And whether you're filing a report on reasonable grounds to suspect or you're choosing not to file on reasonable grounds to suspect, you really need to articulate the facts, context, and indicators that drew you to that conclusion.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for our next session on facts, context, and indicators. If you wish to reach out to us for more information on our AML advisory and learnings, please contact us at the information below or drop us a comment. Thanks.
Thanks.